welcome. Thanks everyone for being here. We are running a little bit late, as Jim said. I'll be having words with Jim later, but we're okay. So I'm here to talk to you today about our partner network. Here's the agenda we're going to talk through. But the aim of the session today is to talk to you all about our partner network. Why? Just close to the mic. Is that better? Why we're setting this up, what we intend to achieve, and to introduce you to some of the partners who will be working with us today and going forwards. So I'll be delighted to introduce these partners in a few minutes, but first of all I just want to give you a quick overview of what we're intending to do. So the partner network is all about collaboration and making collaboration easier. In truth, really, we've been doing this for quite a while anyway. This is all about making it more official, making it larger, and making it more useful to you all, really. So what is the collaboration that we talk about? Well, these three key areas. Clearly, we'll keep doing what we do. Learnosity will keep providing our service, our offering, our software. We'll continue to improve this, and we feel that we can add to this and grow this out by these three areas of collaboration. So on the content delivery side, we believe that by connecting the best available content to the best available assessment solutions that are delivering these assessments makes everybody's lives easier. Access to this content will be much easier than it has been in the past. And around technology solutions, we believe really that by extending our technology offering through complementary partnerships will allow you easier access to these technologies, ultimately making enhancement of your user experience much easier. And then the third area is around integration partners and development partners. Connecting you with development companies that have an intimate knowledge of the Learnosity solution will allow you to create new products, create new feature enhancements, using our recommended network of developers. So we strongly believe these are the three key areas that we can help you. We're already providing your assessments, and this is a way of making it better. And as we somewhat arrogantly like to say, for the best in assessment is Learnosity, for everything else is our partner network. So I can't claim they're my words, but I do actually quite like them, to be honest. As it relates to content partnerships, we're very fortunate to count some of the leading content companies in the US amongst our partners. We work currently with Fluence, with KDS, with Measured Progress, with HMH, with Centrepoint, formerly Parker Inc., to name a few. All of these companies have content that is either intended to be licensed or they are interested in licensing. And our job is to make this easier. So the aim is, by connecting LMSs and client companies that have proprietary platforms, making access to this content super easy will allow you to enhance your content offering. We know this isn't for everybody. We know there are clients who want to use their own content, so third-party content is not applicable. But this is all about having choice and making it easy once that choice has been made. So we're talking about removing import risk. There's complexity to importing these item banks, as the companies I've just mentioned will probably attest to. It's a tricky process, but the point is we, Learnosity, take on this the work ourselves, basically. So we take that pain will lessen as we go forward, but the point is we allow access to the content super easy for you guys. So as it relates to our technology solution partnerships, again, we're fortunate to count many companies who are leading the way in this space as partners of ours, and we have Desmos here, we have GeoGebra here, we have TextHelp here, all of who will be talking to you shortly. Now, these companies they're experts in their own areas of technology, and we feel that by working together with these companies, Learnosity can more easily offer you guys access to this functionality in a seamless, again, easy, collaborative way. We intend to add to this network actually over the course, now and onwards, and we're in quite advanced discussions at the moment with a company that does that will allow us to create paper-based assessments using our TEIs. It's a cutting-edge solution, which sounds somewhat oxymoronic, I suppose, cutting-edge and paper-based in the same sentence. But I think you'll be impressed when we get to the position of being able to offer this for you. So again, rounding out, complementary technologies to our core offering. I guess one question this sort of sparks is Learnosity going to be relying on its partners for all its innovation going forwards? And actually, that's not the case at all. In fact, the opposite. Working with these companies allows us to add this functionality to our core offering, but allows us to remain focused. Keep delivering the great stuff you heard about this morning in the keynote, and keep focused on that going forward. Keep that as our core focus. Help us expand is sort of a request to you guys, really. We'll continue to seek out these technologies that we think are complementary, and obviously we're in discussions with you, our clients, frequently. But if there are these technologies that you've come across or you work with currently, or it would be a nice feature to add to what you're doing with us, we'd love to hear from you. So we want to make this a collaborative effort as well. And then, as it relates to development partners, we've been fortunate over the last couple of years. We've had some very successful implementations with some of our development partners, and Aveniros is here today to talk to you about some of the work we've done together, which we're very proud of, jointly proud of. The benefits of having a development partner that's familiar with Learnosity's APIs, understands the features, understands how to work with it. It's pretty clear, and all around speed to market and efficiencies, development efficiencies. And our plan is to endorse this partner network so that you guys know any of our technology shops that you're working with, we believe in and we rely on, and they meet, the Learnosity standards. So, our aim really in all of these areas of collaboration is to keep it simple. And what I mean by that is avoiding complex business models. So we think that if we're all involved in these conversations, so clients, partners, and Learnosity, it creates an open sort of environment, I suppose, of putting these deals together. We feel that if we're all involved, we're going to get these better sort of collaborative deals done together. So we don't want to be prescriptive either. Our role here is to facilitate and to allow choice and to allow you to make that choice. And I'll give you an example. We have both Desmos and GeoGebra here today, and they'll be talking to you shortly. Now, both offer amazing math software. Some of our clients will prefer one over the other. Some of our clients work with them both currently. The point being, the partnership choice is made by you, the clients, not by Learnosity. Ours is the role of facilitation. So as I said, we would appreciate your help in expanding our network in this area. Not to say, of course, that we're going to work with anybody. We are going to continue to be selective. We're going to continue to work with companies that we feel share our values, meet our client needs, and companies that we're confident in that will deliver to the same high standards that we collectively aim for. So with that said, I'd like to introduce you to some folks that I am very confident in, and we are very confident in. These guys will all be speaking to you today. Eli, I'm going to let you go first. There you are. And then we'll have an opportunity for Q&A at the end of the session. So thank you very much, Eli. Over to you.
All right. I asked Ben for 1 extra minute, so I apologize. I'm going to set an alarm right now. So I'm Eli Lubroff, founder and CEO of Desmos. Who here has heard of Desmos? Awesome. So for those of you who haven't, I'm just going to show a very quick demo of what we do. We are most known for a graphing calculator. This is web-based. It works on phones. It works on tablets. And the intention was to just build software that is so easy and so delightful for students to use that every single student in a class can be extremely successful with it. I want to show you what happens when you actually put this in front of students, because it's kind of mind-blowing. So here are a few sample graphs that our students have made using Desmos, and you can open these up and see that these are actually all done with equations. So like here's the equations that define the shirt of Winnie the Pooh. It's totally nuts. So to give you a sense of how often this is used, on any given school day, students spend something like 300,000 hours using this site. And to give you a sense of scale also, this is recent search trends for Desmos versus graphing calculator worldwide. So we're the one in blue, going like that. So we've got a couple really fun things to announce today. The first is that we recently signed a partnership with Smarter Balanced and American Institutes for Research. And as a result, Desmos is actually built into the high-stakes assessments in a bunch of states in the country, including some big ones like California and Florida. And I want to show you a little bit of what that looks like. So here is the CASP exam. This is the sample for California. And up here, you've got a button in the corner that opens up a calculator, which you guys might recognize as Desmos. And so for a while, we've been talking with Learnosity and saying, how can we get this same kind of behavior inside of Learnosity? And so the first thing that I want to show you is step one of our partnership, where inside of Learnosity, it's now possible to add the Desmos graphing calculator button just like it was in the CASP exam. So I can click over here in the corner, open up graphing calculator, and here it is, or you can attach it to an item, and it's like this. And so the exciting news for you guys is that any partner of Desmos's, and there are several already in the room, that also works with Learnosity, you get this at no extra charge. This is just one of those peanut butter and jelly are delicious separately, and they're even more delicious together. But that's not actually the bulk of what I wanted to show today. I wanted to show you guys what we've been able to do as part of the Learnosity developer network in building custom item types. So Learnosity has some amazing item types across a whole bunch of different subjects, but one of the things that they've told us a lot of you guys have been looking for is to be able to go deeper in math, to have more math item types. Has anyone wanted that in this room? All right, awesome. So I wanted to show you the ones that we built. And before I do, we've got a running joke at our company that when an API is easy enough to use that even Eli can write using it, it must be a really good API. And I wrote these. So it is an amazing API. It's just delightfully put together. So here are some demos of new item types that use our technology combined with Learnosity's technology. So here's an example of one. We call this formula graph. This is actually using the Learnosity math core behind the scenes to do evaluation. But here we've got a graph of sine of 2x. And our challenge is to graph the derivative. And so we might think, because we forget our chain rule, that this is cosine of 2x, and we can check the answer and it'll show us that that's wrong. It'll also plot our sine, our cosine of 2x, and it's not steep enough, so if we remember our chain rule, we know that we need to multiply it by 2, and now it's both going to tell us that it's right, update the graph, and show the graph in green. All of that done just using these two APIs talking to each other. Shockingly easy to build, actually. But that's calculus, which I imagine isn't what most of you guys are looking for. So here's another one. This is a simpler one. Again, this is just powered by the Desmos calculator here. And this is one where the challenge is area and perimeter. So we want to form a rectangle that has an area of 36 square units and a perimeter of 26 square units. I'll give you guys 14 seconds to think about that. Shout it out if you know. So I'm going to try one that's wrong. I'm going to make 6 by 6, which has the correct area but the wrong perimeter. And I'm going to check it, and it's going to show me that the area is right and the perimeter is wrong. 9 by 4, I love it. That is probably 8 by 4, and here's 9 by 4. That was 10 by 4. Here's 9 by 4. And now they're both correct. All right, let's try another one here. So this is one of these depth of knowledge 3 type of problems. So a much more difficult and much more difficult to assess type of problem. We're asking the students to form an equation. They need to make their own equation that has a solution of x equals 3. Really difficult. Normally you give students an equation and say solve it, right? Or you say what does x evaluate to? And in this one you're actually forming the question yourself and we can evaluate it. So for example, if I do 6x plus 5 equals, let's say 2x plus 9, the answer to this one is going to be -1. So that's wrong and it can tell me that. But I could change this to something like Let's put the 5 over here, so when I subtract that from both sides, and here I'm going to do 7 and 4. And now this is an equation that I've created that evaluates to 3. So a depth of knowledge 3 type problem, which is a really hard one to build and assess. And finally, I just wanted to play around because I'd heard that there was a request for box and whisker plots in Desmos, or in Learnosity. And so here's a box and whisker plot. Ah, man, I'm gonna need 20 more seconds. Is that okay? Okay, so here's a box and whisker plot in Desmos that we can evaluate. You can drag the different pieces of it, and I don't actually know what the answer is to this one, so that should make it faster. But I can check, and I know that's wrong. So this is what's coming. It's been a total joy to work inside of this API, and I'm really excited for what we're going to be able to do together. Thank you.
All right, I'll try to speed things. We're way behind, right? All right, we're okay. So we are all about assessment content. We discovered several years ago, actually, we've been in this business since about 2006, and kind of a long history. We were originally a company that I helped co-found called IntelliSess. We were acquired by Amplify, and recently the original team bought back the company, and we're now Fluence. So we like to change our name, but we haven't changed the staff, and we haven't changed the philosophy. Back in 2006, our whole principle was there were these great systems. We all actually came from a company called Edusoft that I imagine a lot of you have heard of, and which isn't so popular anymore. And what we discovered is that companies like Edusoft were doing a great job of getting data in front of teachers quickly. It was a scan and score type of situation on paper. Pro4 online testing was big. But what they had was garbage in, garbage out. All of the content that was created was very weak, and so they were taking test questions from random places, making test questions on their own, and they would get a report that said students were doing great, and then they'd take the state test, and they weren't. So we actually went about the exercise of building assessment content from the ground up. For California was the first place we started, writing it to the standards. Because what we fundamentally believe is that if you want to use assessment to drive instructional change, you've got to really build the content for that purpose. Every question we wrote to California. Common Core comes along, and we say, uh-oh, we got to do it again. Same philosophy. And we built a whole item bank all over again. And this was actually why we did the acquisition with Amplify. They had a lot of money and spent a lot of money on our product. And we recently bought it back from them for a discount. So it was a great business model for us. We ended up with a phenomenal product that's really kind of ahead of things. This is actually a quote from a customer last week. This is a customer that's extraordinarily passionate about what we do. And the reaction, and she just kept sending emails. I was helping her solve a problem, and the problem was solved like 4 emails ago, but she just kept on telling us how great we were. And I figured I have to copy one down. The message here was that other stuff that's realigned from other purposes and sort of converted from other purposes isn't really doing the kids a service, right? If you have new standards that teach new things, you need to have questions that pay attention to those new things. Otherwise, all you've got is the same stuff you used to do, and you haven't really changed anything. So let me just give you a brief update, overview of kind of what we have, like the facts of the matter. We've got an item bank with over 37,000 items, again, all written to the Common Core in ELA and math. We've got over 4,000 technology-enhanced items. All of these are Learnosity items. We've actually, I bet that we have a relationship with Learnosity much longer than probably half or more of the employees at Learnosity. We started using Learnosity in 2013. So any of you employees who weren't there then, we were. In fact, I think Gavin was the only salesperson, and we did the whole deal with him. So we've actually been writing our content sort of native to Learnosity. We didn't take our items from one source and have to convert them. So we've been using Learnosity technology to write the items from the very beginning. So when Ben talked about ease of integration and ease of transfer, there's actually sort of zero integration in that the items are actually starting in Learnosity. When our authors write the items, there's a preview button, and the preview button renders the Learnosity API, so they see exactly what it's going to look like in any of your views. We've also got a number of fixed form assessments. These are shorter 5 to 7 item assessments designed around specific purposes. One of the big shifts, for example, in the new standards for ELA is about text complexity. So we have a whole set of assessments that is designed around increasing levels of text complexity. For those of you who are more focused on math, one of the big shifts is all about assessing at the cluster level. So synthesizing standards into bigger ideas. And so we've designed a set of assessments that synthesize the small standards and connects the dots. And what we're launching this year is continuing our philosophy of build everything written to the current standards. We're building a brand new next generation science solution. And this one actually exercises Learnosity even more than anything we've got before, because we've really been using them aggressively. So probably 30% or 40% are actually technology enhanced items, drag and drop types of things. We still do multiple choice. I mean, we use Learnosity for multiple choice too, but the real sexy stuff, the real important stuff that's different that they provide is the higher level kinds of assessments. We also build custom assessments, and we also do Spanish translations and Spanish language arts assessments kind of built from the ground up. So our relationship with Learnosity, I think I'm sort of repeating some of what Ben was talking about in his slides. We focus and probably what you've heard in every presentation so far, this allows us to focus all of our technology resources on what we want to do and what we're different about. We don't want to spend any of our time with the technology enhanced items and sort of building the back end of that. We want to spend our time and our money writing great content. You know, we talked about ease of integration, but this is almost like it's a de facto standard. So you've got QTI out there, and when you want to share content, you can use QTI to send it one place to another. But QTI is behind where Learnosity is. There's a whole lot of item types that if we wanted to share with our partners through QTI, we would have to turn it into some kind of made-up QTI, and they would have to create a player that was specifically rendered to do that. And one of our competitors, for example, like Key Data Systems, if they did it, they'd have to do the same thing. So every one of the partners would have to sort of figure it out. This allows us to work with Learnosity's content tools, develop our content in that, and then it's like a standard. You know, we give it to you, you know what to do with it because you're all working with Learnosity as well. And for some reason I put 4 bullet points, but it's really only 2. The first and the last is the same. I tend to do that, yeah. So let me hop into a quick demo, hopefully. And I'm happy to get anyone access to a demo like this if they want to see more. So you're going to see something very vanilla. For those of you who saw some of the customization presentations earlier, that's not what we have here. We're all about keeping it somewhat vanilla so that you can do the kinds of color customizations that you want in your systems. But we did create this little demo site so that we can actually walk through an assessment and show it to somebody. So one of the things I like to do is not just to think about the technology items as how sexy they are, is that this is a fantastic item. Because if you've ever seen a fantastic item to leverage technology enhanced, if you've ever seen this item in a multiple choice format, what you would have seen is 4 choices, each with 5 numbers ordered, right? This is asking you to put these numbers in order from least to greatest. So you'd have A would be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. B would be a different 5. Any kid with any kind of learning disability of focus is going to just blunder on that. Whereas this one, I'm not quite knowing the answer, but I'm dragging them. I can visually see. I'm not confused by a whole bunch of different answers. A number line, right? So this is the kind of item that before you'd have to do in constructed response. It's very open-ended. I've actually got 4 numbers that I can put in 4 different places. And it's, in order to do this kind of item before, you could either show 4 number lines in a multiple choice and they would choose the right one, or you'd do a constructed response, which is harder to grade. This is auto-scored, but it gives you a whole lot deeper data. I think we saw an item like this before. It's a modeling question. So those, again, who are looking at math, a huge part of the math standards is about modeling. So I'm 0.16 plus 0.07. You can see how I could fill out the grid to make an answer. And let me jump a little forward just because I think we're I think you saw this one from somebody before. The question is an equation. I'm drawing the parabola. This is a translation. I'm going to draw the triangle in the right place, not in that place. This is one with a passage. So in this one is similar to the ordering before. So if you ask students to order the events in sequence, imagine that in a multiple choice, right? You can't possibly do it. What you'd have to do is say which one of these was first or which one of these was last. Well, in this case, I can actually order all the events from the story in the right place and kind of see it. Huge shift in ELA instruction is about citing evidence. So here's a question that asks you to find the 3 sentences from the paragraph from the passage that best represent or what she knew. And I literally can highlight any sentences, and it'll be auto-scored. Again, this is the kind of thing that I could have said, choose one of these sentences, a very limited set, but in this case, I get to actually see all of the options. Okay, let me jump out of that. Science. So next generation science, we were able to sort of leverage the passage technology. So all of our next generation science items have passages now with items associated with them.
Can I give you a 1-minute warning?
Yes, how about a 20-second? I'll wrap up. Yeah, let me say that last thing and then we're done. So the passage on the left is the idea is it's some sort of context, and then there's a whole bunch of multiple choice or technology enhanced or constructed response tied to it. And I think I can stop right there. Yep.
GeoGebra. It's been pronounced as many different ways as there are countries in the world, which is really exciting. So you can pronounce this however you want. I have a 3-minute video, and I'm going to start it in about 1 minute, and then I'm done. So I'm absolutely to time. As a mathematics background, I'm committed to time, and my mother raised me right, as I say. So as well. Before I start my video, though, and I'll just sort of talk through what you see on the screen. There's a lot of GIFs or GIFs you'll see up there. I wanted to say one of the reasons Marcus, founder and CEO, is here with me today from Austria. I came up from British Columbia, and we came out partly because we're really getting to know Learnosity and we like what they're doing, but mostly because a lot of our partners are in the room, and like K-12 and Amazon and Pearson and others who have big ideas. So it's really nice to meet you all face to face as well, because most of the time we see you online. So. That's us. Any questions about mathematics and plugins and APIs and the amazing things we can do with Learnosity, then just grab us later. We'll do that. And I will press play. So I'm actually going to get, oh, thanks. All right, great. Great, so this is a backgrounder. I'm just going to talk through it, and it literally is 3 minutes. And yeah.
Sorry, that wasn't most of the time. Help. Hold on.
Want some more water, Ben?
Yeah.
So good.
So here we are. We're a big, we like to think of ourselves as a global mathematics service provider. And we spotted someone in the Republic of Palau. These are really moving fast, as you can tell. So we're a global player. We have multiple apps. We work across platforms. We're really proud of things like great advancements in 3D. Statistics and probability are also super important. We're online, we're offline, we're native apps on Android and iOS as well, so lightning fast on your phones, great plugins if you have native apps as well. We're curriculum materials, but curriculum materials authored by our community, and there's over 750,000 materials mapped to curriculum worldwide now. It's really exciting. Even more than that are held privately. We also have a platform, a cloud service, and so many of our community upload content there, and it's all there for you to use as partners, which is great, and also our community. We're also an engine, that's 10 Marks there. They're doing really fun, sexy gamification stuff, and 10 Marks is in the room, so I thought we'd feature them. So it's a nice engine. We're a really great plug-in engine for doing anything you want to do in math. We're also just a classic, graphing calculator, dynamic mathematics calculator, and meeting all your mathematics needs. We plug into various partners. Oh, and here's a little visual of Z-Space. We're doing some really fun stuff with head tracking and polarized lenses, and leading stuff with Google and Z-Space out in the Bay Area. Here's a nice shot of our sense of our community. So we work really around the world, and it's really exciting to see things happening in various parts of the world, and other people working on mobile devices here, and that stuff being shared in the cloud and being used globally. So it's that fun on a daily basis. Also, there's a community within our partner network, like Google Chromebook and Classroom is a great community as well. And on a big day in the middle of the year, there's 5 million plus people using GeoGebra and Google Classroom, so which is really awesome, and we're really excited about that. So that's also a community that we think about and support. We think about, obviously, preparation. So our math curriculum covers K-12 and tertiary, so even at the applied level. But we're also keyed in onto assessment, and we're building exam-capable math apps. And so we can also support that aspect for you as well. This wraps it up. We believe in inquiry, of course, because we think that's the source of innovations. We want to give great tools to our students and teachers and our partners to inspire ingenuity and creation. And moving on into the ideas of innovation, because we are in the STEM edu space because we believe in engineering, we believe in the future, and we think that's the source of inspiration across our economies and our growth as a society. And so we aren't kind of like the cradle to grave kind of philosophy, but we do believe in GeoGebra for life, and we believe that mathematics starts early in exploration with my kids who are really young right now. But really it is. Mathematics is when you start exploring those concepts and you take that all the way through into life. And that's us in a nutshell. So we're here around and we'll chat with you guys. And thanks so much for Learnosity for having us. We're really excited about being plugged into you guys. So thanks.
Okay, and final spot, Peter from TextHelp.
Right behind you, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Brought my water, though. Thank you, and it's been being a good partner. I'm Peter Ramsdell with TextHelp, and that's it. No. But we are a firm focused on accessibility, and maybe when you're building out your systems, you're not thinking of that right away, but I hope you do after today. I'm going to give a little brief, and then I think there's a session after lunch on accessibility. So one of the important things is the student and why accessibility is important to them. They want to learn. They want to show what they learned in assessments. They want an independence while they're using the accessibility tools. And also with personalized learning, if it's based sometimes on diagnostics or assessment items, if they're not showing what they learned, then the AI from that's going to take them into different branches of the curriculum. That may not be beneficial for the student. So accessibility really is important. Schools in K-12 have an obligation to provide and diagnose students with accessibilities. Higher ed, the student actually has to go to the school and identify themselves. Schools in K-12 and higher ed, I think, are putting requirements and RFPs on accessibilities. So if it didn't catch your attention yet, that will catch your attention because you'll lose business to a competitor who is already working on this. And a lot of accommodations are just evolving into standard features, zooming, the AA tool, classic things like that. And born accessible is way easier than retrofitting. So the good news is Learnosity has your back. And I'm not just plugging them, but they really do. They've followed Section 508 compliance. They've been working with the voluntary guidelines of WCAG. I'm not going to go into all those details. There is a link there on section508.gov that you can research it and learn more, probably more about it later today. What's the audience? 5% of students have specific learning disabilities. A large majority of those are dyslexia. So 5% of the student body, that's a couple of million. It's not a group of to just walk past. And these are folks with vision, dyslexia, and most of them benefit from something called read aloud. The next audience could be English language learners. It's not a disability, but it is a challenge. And they're 10%, and they're growing. I think some estimates have that growing quite a bit more in the next 5-10 years. SpeechStream is a product that we work with Learnosity with, and it embeds the most widely used accommodation, which is read aloud, into the assessment. It's an auditory and visual experience. So we both read aloud the sentence and highlight the words as they're read, as that example shows there. Talking too fast, lost my own need for water there. But as the word's being read, we highlight, and we also highlight the sentence. So what you can see is your eye is going to track from left to right and down to the next line, which isn't a natural thing for every student that is in the school system. We help you provide a tool, read aloud, and some other features that we have in a consistent manner across browsers and devices. You can maintain your security with it because we're right inside your environment. And it's very accurate out of the box, but we have tools that help you make it even more accurate if you wish to take that time. We are compatible with all the major browsers and devices. And together, Learnosity and SpeechStream fit into your platform. We're both JavaScript, so not that, well, if anybody's coders, you can read that. But just know that they do come together at the platform. And both firms talk to each other, and that's a power of the partnership as well. So in the math area, for instance, we were doing math in a certain way, and Learnosity was handling it in another way. So we recently added some code called ARIA labels into our product because we knew we wanted to be compatible with what Learnosity was doing. So that's it. And the power of the partnership for us is that we are talking to each other. I can reach out to Mark or anyone at Learnosity if you have a problem and we need to get our products together. And it's not just one company pointing the finger at the other. You want us working together, and that's why the partnership exists. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. And we have one final presentation for you, which is from Aveniros and Mark, the COO of Aveniros. Thanks.
Hi. So I'd like to thank Ben for putting me last because it means I'm the jerk between you and lunch. So I'll make a deal with you. I will rifle through my content if you rate this the highest session if you get a post survey. So Aveniros at our core is a technology company. We write educational software, right? And our goal for that is to apply that technology that we write and the software that we write to enable each student to reach their individual potential. Learning potential, right? And so we work really hard to do this, and we do this in several different ways. One of the ways that we do this is we have a software platform for education called Tutti. The name Tutti, by the way, is Italian for together, so that's where that comes from. The second way that we do that is we work with all of you to help you bring your educational products to market, right? Because we certainly think that that furthers the goal. And then the third way that we do that is we partner with folks like Learnosity, because very obviously everything you've seen today, they're pursuing this goal as well. As a matter of fact, Mark said just about that this morning when he did his keynote. The challenge that we have is, and the thing that keeps us up at night, is that we don't think we collectively, not just Aveniros, but collectively, we haven't achieved this goal yet, right? The reason why we think that, and the reason why it keeps us up at night, is because we've made progress, right? We see progress in the market. We see progress with instructional content getting more engaging and more interactive, and that's a good thing. We certainly see progress with assessments becoming more engaging and more interactive. You've seen a lot of examples of that just today, and particularly with assessments, right? They're also becoming more granular. You can better analyze where a student is deficient or where they're doing well through the use of the assessments that are on the market today. These are all good things. What doesn't exist is the big green button. My buttons are green, by the way, not red. The big green button about what do I do now, right? So now I know that my class, as a teacher, my class is deficient somewhere, right? Where's the big green button that I can push that gives me a bunch of supporting content that says, you know, if that's where your class is deficient, what do you do about that, right? Where's the instructional content that can be brought to bear to help solve that learning problem? What if we could do that for the student, right? The student, you saw an example from Big Ideas of one of the students that said they like the system because they can see the results. Well, what if they see the results and they say, geez, I tanked that, right? Where's the button that they can push that will give them content, videos, whatever, vetted content that will allow them on their own to go and see if they can augment their learning and get a better result the next time around? So this is the thing that keeps us up at night, and this is the thing that we work on all the time, and this is why we do what we do. So what do? We do three different things. I spoke about Tutti a second ago. That's our software platform for education. It can support a full range of technology that you might want to use for your product to bring your product to market. So it has user management, district management, roster management, content management, full LMS support capabilities, so teachers can interact with content, assign that content. And it's also directly integrated with Learnosity, right? So anything that you are making in Learnosity can be pulled directly through the systems built on top of 2D and right into the classroom, right? That's the point. And then development services is by design sitting in between those two things, because many of the folks that we talk with don't have development services. They don't have an IT staff, they don't have a development staff, or if they do, getting the attention of that staff is difficult because there's competing priorities. And so we offer development services as well to help you build your products. You come to us with a vision of what you want in the marketplace, and we can help you get there. And we can help you get there fairly quickly because we've built this platform that already has the support in it for many of the things that you're going to want. Right? So that's what we bring to the table, and that's where we can help you. And those are the conversations that we tend to have with our customers, right? We talk a lot about what do you want to see in the marketplace, right? What are the things that you need? Do you need, a lot of the components that we have here may be out of the box, but I want to customize reports. No problem, right? I want a fully custom solution. I have a very strong pedagogical idea of what I want in the marketplace. I have wireframes about what that needs to look like, how teachers need to interact with that, how students need to interact with it. No problem, right? We can use 2D for that as well. And everything that we do is branded by your brand, not ours. So, really quickly, hopefully I got you fairly comfortable with why we do what we do and how we do what we do. Now I'm going to make you uncomfortable. That's a scary thing for some of you, okay? Even though it's May, it's a beautiful day in New York, the start of the next school year is right around the corner. That is the blink of an eye from right now, from a development perspective, whether it's content development or software development, right? So if this causes you to think about reaching in your bag for some Tums or some bourbon, or both, let me offer you an alternative solution, or maybe an additional one, depending upon how much you want the bourbon. We have a program called Fast Track for Learnosity, and the goal of this is an out-of-the-box solution that will get you up and running by the start of the next school year. And in many cases, we can do this in 30 days, actually. So if you're already creating your Learnosity content, you're in the process of creating your Learnosity content, and you're realizing, well, geez, I got to get this in a classroom. How am I going to do that? This is the way that you can do that. This is a fully featured system where you can assign the Learnosity content at the district level, you can assign it at the teacher level. Teachers can log in and see a dashboard where they're able to see assignments that are provided to them or their own assignments. They can assign that to their classes or cohorts within the class. They can monitor progress through the dashboard about what students have submitted whether or not those things need scoring. Click directly on those and then enter the scores that they need to enter. Students have their own dashboard where they see the assignments that are made to them, and then they can submit those. And it really hits on, Eric, I think you said this right, I think it's the things that are fundamental to getting your Learnosity content in a classroom. Teachers need to access it, your districts need to access it, students need to access it, they need to feel confident that what they submit is actually getting submitted, and teachers can track progress. And that's what the solution will do, right? So this is also built on 2D, by the way, which is why we're able to package this up the way that we are. So once we're able to help you get in the classroom for the next school year, now you might want to grow that solution. You might want to customize reports now. You might want to bring in your instructional content, right? You might want to do all kinds of different things about making your product more your own. Because this is built on 2D, we can do that for you. And this solution also is branded for you, by the way. So it will have your logos, your colors, your brand. It's not ours, right? It's yours. And this is what we bring to the market, right? We're custom developers that can help you solve those problems. So, if that's interesting, let's have a conversation. And this is my last slide. So that was awesome!